In view of these measures, the government must come up in the next 1 week with an implementation matrix of these demands and make it available for public scrutiny and monitoring.
Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, the Anglican Archbishop Ole has come out in a press briefing to directly address William Ruto, Gen Zs, and of course Kenyans at large. And in his address, of course, from the beginning, as you heard, he is giving William Ruto an ultimatum of 1 week to come up with an implementation plan to make sure that all issues people have raised out and has agreed to work on, it is working. The issue of abduction, he's calling for an immediate stop. Therefore, on this one, he's addressing William Ruto and the police boss. He has talked about the issue of extrajudicial killing. He confirms indeed this one has been happening, and he is calling for an end to this kind of heinous act. Above all, on the issue of freedom of speech and the press. We have seen journalists being shot with live bullets. We have seen people being arrested simply they are speaking about this government. And in all this, the government looks so bad. There's a kind of dictatorship. So Ole is warning William Ruto to make sure that all this has been brought to an end. It should not happen, and therefore he has to adhere to the law governing this country and the constitution of this country. With all this, of course, he has went further to call for a prayer event to pray for Kenya, but not a political event, by the way. So we see a man who is speaking the Gen Z's language, endorsing what they've been doing, but again, he goes further to call for a time that give William Ruto time. Hapo ndio sasa watu wanaanza kudraw line. Give him time to see if he's going to do this. So what if he don't do? But now it is time we see even bishops, including those who have been supporting William Ruto, coming out to condemn him. They come out to warn him, and for them they rather speak in defense of the people rather than defending those who are in power. Things have just changed. Hapo ndo tumefika. So the issue of coming out to defend the president and all that, it is no longer there. They are telling William Ruto to sit down and work. Mambo ya mdomo kwisha. So without wasting time, I want to leave here with the entire press statement. But please remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you in our next video, but please watch to the end.
Services, standing with them, we say no to a culture of impunity, corruption, continuous violence, tribalism, poor services, delivery, especially on essential sectors like health, education, and agriculture. We want to honor all those who lost their lives, the injured, and anyone who have lost their property. We remember all who died during the current protest and convey our deepest condolences to their families and friends. We also pray for quick recovery We demand an end to extrajudicial killing and use of excessive force against peaceful protesters. We also call for immediate arrest who have done anything wrong against any Kenyan. In the same vein, we demand that abductions must stop, and those held in police custody must be released immediately or produced in court for possible prosecution if there is any criminal against anyone. In this regard, let the police be allowed to enforce the law and order without political interference. The emerging trends of arresting and abducting of Kenyans who hold contrary opinions must stop. Freedom of speech and of the press. We must uphold. Each and every one of us has a right to information. Kenyans to do that without intimidation. We condemn the recent act where media personnel were attacked in broad daylight. We say no to harming of anyone who is informing. Please desist from actions that will jeopardize the very future that we are all fighting for. As we as a church will monitor and report any progress that is made, and also demand that whatever has been committed should be implemented. We appeal to protesters to suspend protest and give government time to attend to the raft of demands, some of which the president has begun to address, firing most of his cabinet secretaries, signing of the IEBC Amendment Bill 2024 into law, and the resignation of the Inspector General of Police, among others. Now we ask that as he goes on to appoint a new team, he should look at merit, not any other thing that will be used for people to replace those who have been left out. The rule of law. We urge both the government and the protesters to uphold the law and avoid any action that may lead to chaos and cause further suffering of the people of Kenya. Let the police provide protesters with security and manage protests in a professional manner without resorting to use of live bullets or tear gassing peaceful protesters and arbitrary arrest. Genuine protests have been infiltrated by opportunists who have used the protest to cover as a cover to destroy properties, loot and steal. Shutting down of businesses is not acceptable. Curtail movements and create fear or anarchy is unacceptable. This undesirable turn of events must not be given a chance. Destruction of property and looting must stop. Government must act swiftly and implement the raft of measures which are demanded by the protesters and the general public, including cutting government expenditure and wage bill, reducing the size of government and prioritizing essential services to ensure the capital flights and siphoning of public resources is stopped, to freeze both local and foreign accounts of all corruption suspects and cause audits and of such accounts, reigning in corruption, including at county levels, and reviving programs that will help lower the cost of living and spur growth in the economy. In view of these measures, the government must come up in the next 1 week with an implementation matrix of these demands and make it available for public scrutiny and monitoring. There is much talk about creating employment. We ask the President to lead his government to develop and implement a Master Plan to address what we are calling the 5E IBC Amendment Bill and Cabinet Dissolution. We appreciate the IBC Amendment Bill 20 performance of all who are charged with running of these critical sectors. We see the current crisis not as the Kenya we want. Let us promote an all-inclusive engagement and support. Yes. nitajaribu ama nipatie ndugu yangu kutoka, nauliza pia wale wote walio katika uongozini waweze kutibu makosa ya taifa. Tunaomboleza pamoja nao na kuombea wale ambao wanaugua waweze kupona kwa haraka. Tumeshangazwa sana na hali, na kwa sababu tayari kuhakikisha Wakenya wanapata huduma muhimu, na kwa Wakenya wote tunaomba ya kwamba tusimame wote kusema hapana kwa injustice ya aina yote, tuseme ndio kwa integrity ya kila mmoja wetu, na tuhakikisha ya kwamba sisi wote tumewajibika kwa yale ambayo tunatekeleza. Tunaomba sisi wote na makanisa tuweze kusimama kuboresha nchi hii na kuhakikisha hatutaipoteza, tutaijenga kwa ajili ya kisasi hiki na visasi vijavyo. Hivyo ndio ilikuwa statement yetu siku ya leo kwa taifa la Kenya. Asanteni sana. So tumeshukuru sana, Mungu awabariki. Okay. Yeah. And a short reflection.